What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nacho Wrestling, and SummerSlam Night 2, SummerSlam Sunday, whatever you want to call it, is officially in the books, meaning that we can close the chapter on the experiment that was Weekend SummerSlam, and we can look back on it fully and try to decipher, was this worth it? Should it be done again? Probably not. But with that out of the way, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling, and if this is your first time watching a Nacho Wrestling video, I want you to consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers, and your help would be greatly appreciated. With that out of the way, let's move on to our review of SummerSlam Sunday. The show opened up with the women's triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship as Naomi was defending her belt against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. First of all, Naomi had an absolute amazing entrance featuring her dad playing the guitar or bass. I'm not really sure which one it was. He was playing some sort of stringed instrument for Naomi on the way down to the ring, and it was just awesome to see because Naomi's emotion was just all over her face. She was teary-eyed a little bit, and it's hard to not be teary-eyed in a situation like that. You're on the second biggest stage in the company, and your dad is playing your entrance music for you. Like, that's fucking cool as shit. I'd cry too. But that's not about me. It's about Naomi, who would end up winning this match. And it was a really good match. I think Rhea and Io have amazing chemistry together. You add in a third foil like Bianca at Mania or like Naomi here, and it doesn't really take anything away from the match. If anything, it enhances it because now, especially now with the character traits that these two women being Rhea and Io, like they kind of are friend with each other, but at the same time, they want the same thing. They want the World Heavyweight Championship. So they were working together in this match a little bit, and they were doing some really, not innovative stuff, but some pretty good stuff for Triple Threat in WWE. So I think this was the perfect way to open the show. I don't really think I see myself giving it anything less than 5 tortilla chips, which will be the only 5 tortilla chip ranking out of the entire weekend. So congratulations, Naomi. Congratulations, Io Sky. Congratulations, Rhea Ripley. I will be sending you guys your personalized letters in the mail. Thank you for a great match. Next up, we had the TLC tag title match as the Wyatt Six were defending their tag titles against, and I'm going to try and name all other 5 teams here without stuttering. It was DIY, Fraxium, Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, and I'm stalling for time because I'm forgetting and I want to try and make sure I get it right. It was Andrade and Rey Fenix. Yes! God, that was a lot to say. And just like that was a lot to say, there was a lot that happened in this match. It was very hard to try and write down some of the major beats to talk about and some of the major moments that I saw or remember. I do remember Ciampa doing this really cool, like, pull-up Spider-Man type shit on the title belts, blocking, or not blocking, but dodging the spear attempt from Nathan Frazier. They were trying to call back the spear in the OG Triple Threat ladder match. I don't know if it was the OG one. I think it was the one at Mania that they did that. You know what I mean? The spear, the iconic spear. I'll put the GIF over me probably. The spear Edge does to Jeff Hardy off of that ladder. They were trying to redo that, but Ciampa actually avoided it, which I thought was really cool. You have to have immense core strength for something like that. And I think if anyone was going to be able to pull that off in the match, it was going to be Ciampa. And look at that dude's core. He's fucking jacked. I will say one thing that I noticed was that for a 12-man TLC match, this wasn't as sloppy as I expected. I do believe that there probably was a couple of botches, a couple of miscues, like there was that one Joe Gacy bump where he completely missed the ladder, so the Street Profits just did it again. I think that's fine. Honestly, I thought that was kind of funny. And one side note about Joe Gacy and the Wyatt Six, please never, for the love of God, let them come out during the daytime again. It looked horrendous. Thank you. Speaking of the Wyatt Six, again, they would end up getting the win, and the finish would involve all teams kind of making their way up towards the top a little bit, but inevitably would be taken down by Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. So the Wyatt Six are still your champions. Congratulations, Wyatt Six. More importantly, what was the match rated? Well, I actually quite enjoyed this match. I gave it 4 tortilla chips out of 5. I mean, it was a very well executed TLC match, and with fucking 6 teams, 12 guys in there, for it to not have any major, like, disgusting looking botches or anything like that, and for there to be some pretty good moments that I remember fondly already, four tortilla chips is pretty fair. I almost said stars. Next up, Night 2 was just hitting the bangers after bangers after bangers, Sheamus style. We had the women's IC title as Lyra Valkyria was vying for it one more time against the champion Becky Lynch. And I have an extensive list on this match because, good lord, I enjoyed this match quite a bit. It was fun. It was entertaining. I was really interested to see how this would differ from the main event, seeing as there's very similar stipulations. But I feel like the women did a good job at kind of distancing themselves from what the main event was going to do. I think the main event probably got a little more like aggressive with not the environment, but like actual weapons. And I think the women's match kind of used the environment a little more, like the way specifically when Becky had Lyra zip tied up with her hands and then was like kind of blocking her, and she put her up on the ring post and she was stuck and everything like that. I think it all worked out really well. Bayley ended up making the save for Lyra, but then also inadvertently cost her the match, letting Becky retain the belt. Just an absolute stellar 3 back-to-back-to-back matches for Night 2. Once this match was like midway through, this is when it really hit me like, oh, okay, Night 2 is already better. And yeah, I think it's kind of hard to disagree with that point. I would love to see those comments be made as to why Night 1 is better. But I don't think any comments are going to be made about that. So yeah, I almost moved on before rating this one. This one also gets 4 tortilla chips from me. Like I said, just these 3 matches back to back to back. Just an absolute stellar way to open the show. The first half of the show was absolute entertainment. And that's what WWE is all about. Next up, we had the U.S. title steel cage match as Solo Sikoa was defending his U.S. title against the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. I don't really know whether this match was good or not. I enjoyed it. For like a steel cage match in WWE, I thought it was enjoyable. There was the usual tropes you expect in a WWE steel cage match. You know, it's supposed to lock out, friends or foes from certain competitors and everything like that. And yet the MFT for Solo still got involved. Jimmy still got involved. So, what was the point of the steel cage? I guess to make sure that it was not just another like street fight or Extreme Rules, since there was already 2 of those on the card. But you could have done something where it was Jacob and Jimmy versus, say, Solo and JC Mateo. I don't know if they've done that yet on SmackDown. But, like, just run that. Run that in a tornado tag or something like that. I don't know. I feel like eventually they're building towards Roman, and this is a crackpot theory, but Roman, Jacob, and the Usos versus Solo's faction and like a new bloodline civil war. That's just my theory. Just a game theory, but, could work out. But back to the steel cage match. It was good. It wasn't great. Wasn't anything to write home about. I think this was the first match on the card that I kind of was like, left a little to be desired. Especially at the finish, when after the finish, after Solo was able to escape the cage with help from Tala Tonga, Jacob just decided to attack, and Jimmy decided to attack Tongaloa and JC Mateo, and then Jacob hit the big BME off the top of the cage, which is like, okay, I wanted that during the match, not after the match. So I can't factor that into the grade. You know what I mean? That being said, 3.25 tortilla chips for this match. It happened, but there was some good stuff. But I feel like, especially with the fact that these two know each other very well, like, their family, you'd think they'd have a little more chemistry together. but seemingly these Bloodline guys do not like wrestling each other. Every time they wrestle each other, there's some sort of issue. In the second to last match on the card, we had the Intercontinental title as Dominic Mysterio was defending his belt against the phenomenal AJ Styles. And it was during the entrances for this match that I learned it is the 20th anniversary of Dominic Mysterio's custody match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. The more you know. And to celebrate this, both men were wearing tribute gear. I'm sure they worked that out together because Dominic was wearing tribute gear, ironically, to his dad, Rey, and then AJ was wearing tribute gear to Eddie. You'd think, gimmick-wise, it would be the other way around, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Gear looked great for AJ, by the way. Something about that like iridescent flame stuff looked fucking awesome on him. Just want to make that point. The crowd did seem pretty tired at this point, you know, seeing back-to-back stipulation matches. Well, back-to-back-to-back stipulation matches with the TLC no holds barred or whatever stipulation Lyra and Becky actually had, and then the steel cage. Crowd was a little tired, but Dom and AJ were able to get them involved and invested towards the tail end of the match. So much so that when Dom was able to sneak out the victory and win with a frog splash and everything like that, and kind of shockingly win clean, like there was no help from Finn, there was no Judgment Day shenanigans. I think that's what more people were surprised about than anything, because usually Dom cheats. But none of that happened. Dom wins. Dom's off. Probably going to win the AAA championship in a few weeks at Triple Mania. That'd be pretty cool. What's cooler is the fact that I'm giving this 3.5 tortilla chips. Honestly, I think that's pretty fair. I could have seen myself giving it 3.25 just because like the crowd really was dead, but they worked really hard at it, and I did appreciate like Dom's beginning work with throwing down some like Lucha Libre stuff. I think he's really trying to get that stuff down before wrestling like officially, you know, for the AAA brand. So, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, 3.5 tortilla chips from me. Finally, we have the main event. John Cena defending his 17th world title against Cody freaking Rhodes. Wow. They really said, fuck it. The only way we can make up for that stinker at Mania is to go like 30 minutes. I don't know if that was the answer. I enjoyed the match, and mainly because of all the falsies. I don't know if, like, it was slow, but it was entertaining. There was some good stuff with weapons. There was some good stuff, like some good table spots. Cena did that nasty looking attitude adjustment through the commentary table. And then fucking Cody gave a pile driver to Cena. Unheard of in the WWE. Literally, they mentioned it on commentary that is in fact a banned move. And legit, it is a banned move in the WWE. So to see a pile driver is always awesome, at least in the WWE. You know, if you're watching AEW, you see one every other move. But in the WWE, it has a little more oomph factor to it. So to see that pulled out pretty early on into the match too, by the way, was kind of shocking. Made me think that Cody was going to do some sort of heel turn towards the finish, but he didn't. The finish happened. Cody hits a massive Cody cutter off the top rope through a table. Cena, you know, kind of collects himself a little bit. He's on the ropes. He's staggered. Cody gives him one final salute, very akin to the "I'm sorry, I love you." And bam, crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes is your new WWE Undisputed Champion for the second time ever. And that was the end of the show. Nothing happened. It went off the air with the two of them hugging, the two of them celebrating. Nothing, absolutely nothing else happened on the card. What's that? Oh, something did happen. I have to talk about it? Shit. Fine. I have been told by my executives that I need to bring this up, but apparently Brock Lesnar needed to make his return at SummerSlam and attack John Cena and hit him with an F5. So Cena's next feud in running back the classics is with Brock Lesnar. Yay. Post-match segment aside, I did enjoy the match. I didn't enjoy the match enough to give it like 4.5 or 4.25 or anything like that. I'm giving it a nice middle of the road 4 stars. I feel like that's really fair. I feel like maybe they went just a little too long. Like towards the finish, I was like, all right. Like when Cena kicked out of the 3 crossroads, I was like, okay. I was like, this could be Cody's heel turn moment. But then Cody didn't turn heel and nothing happened. Just Cody's gonna stay a good guy. Unless something changes in like the near future, like it's just a little boring. So 4 tortilla chips from me. Not the greatest way to end the show if you read up on your news about Brock Lesnar. That is it for my rating and review of SummerSlam Night 2. Overall, as a whole weekend event, I would say that this was okay. Night 1 definitely made me feel like a 2-night event SummerSlam isn't necessary, and maybe they just kind of didn't really have everything fully fleshed out with how like fucking packed in everything is lately. Like we literally in 3 weeks at the end of the month we got Clash in Paris, you know. So we got a lot of stuff back to back to back to back for the WWE. So I think they just kind of are stepping off the gas a little bit because they have to. Even though like this is the exact opposite time, like they should be flooring it, you know. But that wouldn't make this a complete failure. I think it was fun. I think it's like cool to sit down and watch two nights of wrestling. I love wrestling. I know a lot of people are like, oh, 2 nights, so much wrestling. But then when AEW's on, they're like, oh, 4 hours, 5 hours of nothing but wrestling. It's one or the other. Either WWE does what AEW's doing right now, and you get like a 7-hour show because they also put in all their ad reads, or they split it up into 2 nights. Give me the 2 nights. Give me the 2 nights. Let me know what you guys thought about SummerSlam Night 1 and Night 2, more specifically Night 2 in this video, but let me know overall what you thought about the show down in the comments below. What was your favorite match from the entire weekend, and what was your least favorite match from the entire weekend? Like I said, let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling, and I will see you guys next time.